Okay.
Hey guys, hey, welcome back to my channel. It's Mousy, the ultimate SL clout chaser. And I'm so happy to have you here with me. I hope you guys had an amazing weekend, and I have such a treat for you. I am here with SL.Drake, and we're going to talk about role playing a celebrity on the grid and monetizing it and creating a business around that. This is going to be sort of informative, a mentorship series, and as well as a how to, and we'll get to know SL Drake a little bit better. So, introducing SL Drake. How are you doing? How's everything going?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How was your weekend?
My weekend was good. My weekend was good.
So, we have a lot to talk about. You've been role playing as SL Drake for how long now? Over 5 years, 7 years?
I would say 12, 13. 12, 13. I'd have to look at my other account and give you like the exact date. But yeah, it's been, I'd say over 10 years. Yeah, it's been over 10 years.
I wanted you guys to have the element of surprise, but it's been over a decade. So he's been doing this for extremely long time, and I would say 10 years makes a master at anything, and you're the best person to speak to about this. You and I had a side conversation before I went on an SL vacation with a group of friends, and we kind of talked about how you got started and what this role play has evolved into for you, and I was just fascinated, blown away, and I'm excited to share this with everyone else. Can you just tell us a little bit about how this all started?
Yeah, so I was on SL and like in the beginning, and I was trying to figure out like how I wanted my avatar to look, and I seen everybody like doing real creative stuff, and at the time I was listening to like a lot of Drake, and I was like, you know what, nobody's done like a Drake avatar that I've seen here, so I was like, let me see if it's possible. So I went to like a store, found a skin that looked somewhat similar to him, shaped it, and then just started taking photos. So that's how it started. It just started with me just taking photos. Um, and then my Flickr at the time, when I was using Flickr heavily, like a lot of people like liked the photos and things like that. So yeah, so that's how it started. It started off just me taking photos, and then do you want me to like go into the to like how it became what it is now
Yeah, sure, if you
in
don't
a
mind.
way?
Yeah, and then
Um,
so guys, I'll let you guys know how it's going to go. I'm going to let Drake tell us exactly how he started in SL in terms of taking photos, maybe even performing, and what it's evolved into today. Give us like the detailed but truncated version, and then we'll talk in detail about some of these things, like if someone wanted to go about creating their own SL celebrity avatar, how can they go about it? Is it worth the investment? It's conversational, guys, so just bear with us and enjoy the conversation, enjoy the combo. Go ahead.
okay, so yeah, so like I said, it started off with photos, just taking photos, and I had a friend that I met, and um she did a Nikki avatar, and so we were like taking photos for Flickr and stuff like that, and you know, it was around the time Take Care released, and I was like, I want to make it like an experience in a way of like, I'm enjoying the album, but I want other people to enjoy the album. And at the time there were like DJs and stuff like that. So I had a land, and I would just bring people to the land, and I would sort of like do a concert, but it'd be like a listening experience. And at first people were like a little like not thrown off by it, but they just were like, some people were like, what's the point? Other people, it was very mixed in the beginning. It was like, oh, like, why are we having a listening party? And there were some people like, oh, this is pretty dope. So it was very mixed reviews, I would say, in the beginning. It wasn't like, oh, this is just amazing. you know.
Overwhelming support. It was just kind of like a
Yeah.
little bit of confusion, but this is kind of fun because I would imagine it's different. A lot of people, especially if you've been in SL for a while, they kind of just sit on their platform. They tire of going to the same SL parties or following the same DJs. And so it's nice to have a little bit of something different, right?
Yeah. Hmm.
But definitely out of the ordinary. So you have your listening parties. So you start your Flickr. These pictures are, gaining a little traction. People are liking them. They think it's creative, unique, whatever the situation is. You have these listening parties. And how does that evolve into like full blown performances or you going and performing at birthday parties and SL strip clubs and other venues?
Yeah. So people would approach me and just ask me like, do you do could you perform for, my sister's having this birthday and she would really love to have Drake, perform. And, I was like, well, yeah, sure. I mean, my whole thing was after, doing the listening parties, like I want to be a part of the experience for people on SL. So, I was like, yeah, sure. So, I would do these birthday parties, other venues and stuff like that. And then yeah, and then it became I would say years down the line, it started to evolve into where people were able to put where people were actually putting like, concerts together. And it really stemmed from like it was like a lot of K-pop in the beginning, like a lot of K-pop performances and things like that I was seeing. And um and then it sort of evolved into like other genres of music. Um, and yeah, so the first I would say the first big concert that I like put together, it would be I recreated Coachella. Um, and I had a bunch of my friends, do the other artists. We had a Rihanna, we had Beyonce, of course, we had Nicki Minaj. Um, and the, basically, like as far as the concerts at that time, like so around that time people were doing concerts, but this was like a change in a way, because I figured out how to so when you go to like a performance in real life and you see the artist, on the stage, but then you see them on the big screen, right? So I figured out a way to, do that in essence with the Coachella. And people were just like, they were like blown away because they were like, and there's like no way they literally got the person right there, but then they're live streaming it on like a big screen, behind the artist, and it's like syncing up perfectly, and it just looks amazing. Um,
And what year was
so
this?
I would say this was maybe 5 years ago, 6 years ago,
Okay, yeah, that
five,
would have
six.
been surprising then, right?
Yeah. Um, and so then I was joining other people's festivals and joining their things and helping with that. Um, and and yeah, yeah, so that's how it sort of
Evolved.
it evolved. Yeah, it went from just doing pop up appearances at birthday parties, and then the people wanting to actually go to a full concert. So
So based on what I'm hearing, it's interesting because it doesn't seem like you kind of had a plan. Well, I'm gonna role play as Drake and I'm going to put on concerts and festivals and eventually manage other SL artists, which you do now, and I'll let you talk about that a little bit. It
yeah.
just kind of organically happened. It just evolved over time.
Yeah, and I keep, I don't really mention this to people, but I think I'll let you in on a little bit of the backstory that I've sort of missed, and it just dawned on me right now. Is there was a rap battle scene like years ago in SL, so I was actually rap battling people in SL as Drake. And so that's how I sort of got, I would say that's how I sort of got the, I don't want to
Notoriety kind of
say the
known.
notoriety. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And so, you know, I have to mention them because without them, honestly, I think I probably would have not, I would have not came across a lot of people on the grid that I came across, you know? So, because, you know, when they would hold the rap battles, a lot of creators would come, a lot of, landscapers, designers would come to these rap battles because it was something that nobody was really doing. So I want to give a shout out to them, because without them, it probably would have been, I don't know, would have been different, but so I just want to just mention that though. So
No, definitely. You know, it just sounds like a series of serendipitous events, right? All these fortunate
yeah,
accidents that happened. But I don't know, people say that I'm a little bit la la, right? Whatever you want to call it. But I always think when
mhm,
you're following your passion or following your instincts or your intuition, and for you it was just like, let me create this artist, let me take some pictures and see what happens. That's kind of how it
yeah.
will unfold for you, right? You will just meet people or happen to be in the right place or right time. But now that you've been doing this for 10 years, do you think that there's a formula to becoming successful in SL, role playing a celebrity?
Um, I think there is a formula to it, and I think it's sort of, um honestly, it'd be like any business on SL. I mean, do you want me to like sort of like go through like a step, I guess, like if somebody wanted to get get into this in a way?
Yeah, why not? So let's say I wanted to become SL SZA, or
Yeah.
someone out there wanted to become an SL version of Taylor Swift. What would they have to do?
Yeah. So basically, you can the easiest the okay, so I'm gonna break it. I'm gonna give you the cheap way and then like the if you just want to go like full blown. Right. So the cheap way would be, you go to marketplace, you find a skin that's somewhat similar to the artist you're looking for, and then, go to, find the hair and things like that. That's like a cheap way. But then it's like if you really want to, like, let's say you want to take that experience to a next level. I mean, there's many skin creators that'll do a custom skin for you. I've seen as cheap as like $40 that they'll somebody will do like a full detailed, like, custom skin for you. And yeah, and they'll do a pretty good job. And and as far as that, so you have your skin, right? Um, and then there's like another layer to it. So like let's say, you pick SZA, right? So with SZA, there's background dancing, there's choreography, there's things like that. So, then that's when you either A, you find someone who does choreography, which there's like a lot of sororities and fraternities that are really good at choreography, so you could probably like hire one of them to come in and help with the choreography, or you could learn it yourself using spot on. Am I allowed to, is that, would that be considered advertising someone's product if I'm mentioning what it is, or is that
I
is
think
that
that's
fine?
100% fine. Yeah. I mean, I
Okay.
mention things I
Okay.
like or would be beneficial to someone all the time. Yeah. That's not an issue.
Okay. I was just curious because some people don't like when you talk about other products or things like that on there, So I was just
No,
making sure before. Yeah. So I use Spot On for like all the choreography and things like that.
what is spot on? Because I've
No.
never heard of this before.
Yeah, so Spot On is literally like a full blown choreography system to where like you can set up how you want your background dancers to move. You can set waypoints to where like if you want your avatar to be like, let's say you have a stage set up and you want them walking down the stairs, you could basically have a pre-routine recorded so they're walking down the stairs, they go into their dance routine. You have the backup dancers popping up from under the stage, crazy stuff like that,
Okay, so
basically.
basically, if
Anything
I
you could.
were your background dancer, all I have to do is sit, and it's already programmed everything that I need to do.
Yeah, so the person that's creating the choreography at all, it'll be all set up already, and all they have to do is click play on whatever it is they designed, and then you would just sit on the bracket, and then boom.
Okay, I don't want to get
Yeah,
too far ahead, so I just want to stop here and kind of recap what we just discussed. So, if I wanted to become SL SZA, there
yeah,
are two things I need to determine. Number one, how much I want to invest, because I can go the cheaper route or the more
yeah,
expensive route. And we'll talk about a little bit later what I might choose based on what the potential is of this particular or any particular SL artist, right? So if I go to the cheap route, I'm finding a similar skin, hair, aesthetic where as it relates to clothes, makeup, so on and so forth. And I
yeah.
need to also think about when I see SZA as a performer in real life and she's performing, who do I see around her? What dancers or maybe a band, whatever, I would need to make sure that I have that information. Now, my
Hmm.
question to you is this: what would you do as a new person trying to determine if they want to, kind of dabble in it? I'm not 100% committed, but I want to try. Should they go the expensive route or should they go to the cheap route?
I say if you're gonna dabble in it, I mean, I say go the cheap route and see what happens. Um, if you're gonna dabble, but I think it's because like the role play artists, they take it so seriously that like you could tell, like, oh, they're not half doing it. They're like full blown, like, and there are some people who, they half do it, and that's fine. It's no knock to them, but
Are they successful though? That's the question.
they're how could I say this without well, I'm not gonna say any names, but they're not successful, and it's a from what I've seen, it's from a plethora of things, not just them. It could be the management around them, things like that. That also plays a part too. By the way, who's managing? Who do you have managing and doing that too?
Well, if I'm just starting out, I have no one managing me. I'm
Oh
just
yeah,
doing this
yeah. If it's just
myself.
you, yeah, if it's just you, then be friendly to everybody. That's what I would say, honestly. Just be friendly to everybody. And if you're just getting into it, honestly, like this is gonna sound crazy, but make your booking prices like just really low. Because if you're just like, if you're just sort of dabbling in it, but you want to get into it, I'd say just make your booking prices really low so you get booked. And then it's like, you go, you do it, and then, you know, the person who booked you isn't really taking that much of a risk hiring you because you're not really like, full blown into it yet. So it's like a win-win in a way. They're
Okay.
giving you a chance to perform, and then you're getting a chance to make a little something back on what you probably did spend on that hair or the skin and things like that.
Got it. Um, so I wanted to go back to this one question where we were talking about whether or not a person would be successful going the cheap route.
Hmm.
Define success in this arena.
Well, for me, for me, it was for me it was how many bookings could I acquire in a year. That's what it was for me. But then it was like, how many tickets could I sell at a concert? And how many times could I do it back to back to back to back to back to back? So, but I would say success for someone that is just starting out. I mean, if you're getting bookings left and right, if your follower count is going up, I mean that should be your your meter of success, really. If people are, they're coming to you, they're vibing with you, they're coming to see you perform, you're getting booked to perform, you know. So I would say that would be the measurement is your activity, I think.
I think that's fair because if you've kind of created this avatar and you're not able to do anything with it, then that's not successful. But even if you could book a party a month or maybe two a month, I would
Yeah.
think that's somewhat successful. And like you said, your SL social media following is growing. And this is a great point to segue into this. How will people know that I exist or even someone like you exist, right? So what steps did you take in your journey outside of the rap battle? Outside of the rap battle and kind of
Yeah.
falling into a birthday party or a booking, did you take any intentional steps in order to be known and seen?
So yeah, so I went on Facebook. I made like a SL Facebook. I made a SL Instagram. And with the SL Facebook at the time when Facebook was really active, I would honestly just, post a lot of me doing the performances. Um, or I would post where I'm gonna perform at. Um, and things like that. So I was really active on there. And one thing too is, especially with Instagram, you can't be scared to follow people. Like go on someone's page, like an SO person's page who's popular. Now this is gonna probably sound like, very cliche, but honestly, you just go to someone who's popular on SO, and just start following the people in there. And they'll see like, oh, this person's role playing SZA, or their role playing Nikki, or their role playing whoever, and they'll follow back, because now we're in a time in SL where people are loving experiences. They're it's like a what would be a good word, it's like a commodity right now. It's a so it's a good thing right now. So yeah, so what I would do is, yeah, if I was just starting out, I would go find somebody who's popular on Instagram that's in the SL community and just start following. And that now, not everybody's gonna follow you back, but a high majority will follow you back. you know
Thanks for giving that tip. And I've actually heard that a friend, because I don't have an SL Instagram. I had an SL Facebook, in 2020, but I haven't, restarted it or engaged with my SL socials outside of YouTube. But I do want to start a SLS Instagram. And that was the exact same advice that I got. Do kind of follow for follow system and follow a lot of people, and you'll get your, numbers up, whether you're SL celebrity or not. And so that's one way that people know that you exist. And off camera, you and I were talking about like going to parties and stuff like that. Do you think that would be beneficial?
oh yeah, definitely engaging in the SL parties. That is honestly a good way to like boost your name.
So just standing there, like, do you have to do anything special?
Um, no, I mean, well, it's I'm trying to explain it as if I wasn't me on SL. So if I was just somebody else, so if I was like somebody else, I would honestly, I would talk in the chat. I'd be like, "Yo, what's up, guys?" Or "Hey, what's up?" Or shout out to the DJ. The smartest thing to do, honestly, is shout out the DJ or tip the DJ, because the DJ will shout you out. One,
And be like,
so
SL.Drake in the building, scissors up in the house, or something like that,
yeah,
right?
and then they'll probably play a song or mix a song in, and then it's like comes a whole vibe now, and then you got people probably adding you off that. So yeah, I would say engaging in the chat, engaging with people and things like that, because yeah, I've had times where, I've gone to the other side of the grid, and I didn't even know I was popular over there, and I dropped down. Everybody's like, "Oh my God, it's SL.Drake," and I'm just like, "Oh, I didn't even know y'all knew who I was." But
That's
it's
dope. Okay, so let's talk about this, right? Guys, I know the big thing that you guys want to talk about is money, like bookings and concerts and things like that. And I promise you I'll get to that. But this is for my own personal knowledge. I need to know this. Do you RP SL Drake 24/7? Like, is this your main or do you have an alt? And do you get tired? And is this account just for business at this point? Talk to us about
um
that.
So I do have an alt account. That's like my store account. Where I like handle like my store stuff and things like that.
Wait, what
This
store? Tell us about it.
oh yeah, so the store is called Fabric. Um, it's going to be, well, I'm sort of rebranding it. I'm rebranding it right now, but the goal of that store was to always be an affordable, high end luxury clothing brand on SL, to where I see a lot of people who like hide that nice design behind the fat pack versus like my store. I want to give everybody every design, and then the fat packs will be like very affordable. So I want to be like an affordable, basically luxury fashion house on SL with that, as far as my store is concerned.
That's a fire idea. We all hate the fat pack trap. A fat pack is 1,500 linden and up, and up and up. I will stress that. And if I can get certain prints without having to pay that much money, how much are your fat packs before I start praising you?
Yeah, so my fat packs are between 4.99 and 7.99.
Okay, that is affordable, and I shop a lot, so that's affordable. I think that's a great idea. Okay, so you're gonna link, you guys, if you're interested in checking out his store or marketplace, I don't know if you have both, we'll put the link in the description. And also, any events that Drake has, we'll put in the description as well. And I have a special treat because at the end of the video, we're going to check out a stadium that he created for concerts and other venues, but we'll talk about that in a bit. So that's great. So on that account, it's just purely for your store. It's for business. So what are you doing? I'm sorry, guys. I have like little gotcha sales coming in. That's why you're hearing the money trickle in. What so this is you 100% of the time in SL right now, and does it get
Yeah.
overwhelming?
Um, it doesn't get overwhelming because I'm having fun. It's it never really feels like a, I guess you could say, a job, I guess, because it's like I'm having fun. You know. So as long as I'm having fun, it's a good thing. It's a way to, you know, it's a way to just have fun on SL, um and yeah. So I'm having fun. So
And I
it
think
never
that's why you're
gets
doing
never gets
so well
draining.
at this, right? And everything is unfolding the way it is because you're having a good time doing it. All right, so with that being said, I know that some of your markers of success is how many bookings you can get within a year or concerts. And if the success of the prior year is repeatable, you consider that a success. Can you tell
Yeah.
us, like, an artist who's unknown in SL, what should they be charging as a booking fee versus someone who's well known? And we'll just assume the middle ground, right? And the same thing for
Yeah.
concert tickets.
Yeah. So bookings, I would say, if you're just starting out, I mean, if you're just starting out, I mean, you could do like 1K for 10 to 15 minutes. Um, like a little quick, I mean, that's 10 15 minutes of your time. And, you're getting 1K lindens. That's not a bad trade-off,
That's a very
honestly.
respectable. I like it.
Yeah. Yeah. So basically how I've done it, um so as far as concert tickets go, um if you're just starting out, honestly, doing a concert, it's honestly, it's always smart to get other acts involved, especially if you're just starting out. You want to get other acts involved, to sort of help, because their name brand is going to help boost your name brand. It's going to help boost the promotion overall. um so yeah, so as far as concert tickets, I mean, you can do, right now the standard is like 200, 250 for general, and then a lot of people do VIP for like 1K lindens or 2K lindens, depending on what it is.
Okay. And when you say VIP, would it be like special seating areas?
Yeah, so VIP at most concerts is like special seating or merch or like meet and greets or autographs at the end of the show or things like that. Little special things that if you didn't, get the general admission, you don't get access to.
Okay, so it's like a full package then. So you get the special seats closer to the artist, merch, as well as like some type of picture or something like that. That's cool. Okay, I did not know that. All right, so This is a lot of great information. So if someone wanted to start out as an SL celebrity, basically they would have to create their avatar. They could determine how much they want to invest. Obviously, guys, if you want to buy a skin, it's like 1,000 linden, the cheap route and accessories. I imagine that won't go up above 5K. But the more expensive route, which is to get in custom avatar, custom skins, maybe custom shaping, and someone styling it for you, how much do you think that'll run you, Drake?
For a custom skin and a custom shape and all that.
Yeah, the expensive route.
Um, I mean, you could honestly go like $40. $40 you can get a. Depends on who you go to. I don't have like the list of people off the top of my head right now, but there's people. If you just like go on Instagram, you look up skin stores, or you can just mess with some skin creators. They'll do a custom skin for you. They'll charge like between $40 to $80. There's some that I've seen that have charged 250. So it honestly just depends who you go to. But you can get a really good custom skin for like $40.
Okay, so that would be the expensive route. And then another thing you said is like you have to start your SL socials up, kind of go to the parties. That's how you're seen and known. And then if you want to start a little bit of a listening party, concert, something like that, obviously promotion and collaboration seems to work best because you're sharing a fan base. I wanted to ask you because we did talk about management earlier. Do you think it's necessary for a new SL celebrity artist to have a manager?
I would say yeah, and the reason why is because if that manager's already been managing other artists, they can sort of it's sort of like in real life, right? Like if you get an agent or a manager, they can get you booked on certain certain venues or certain concerts, or they can do a lot of the legwork as far as talking to people and getting you booked in places.
Okay, that totally makes sense. And so outside of you yourself,
Hmm.
booking events, headlining concerts, being a part of other people's concerts and festivals or whatever the situation is, you now manage artists as well. Is that correct?
Yeah, yeah, I do.
And how long have you been
Um,
doing that and how did that start up?
so I've been managing artists for about 4 years, 4 or 5 years now. Um, and
Anyone we
it
know?
honest, I do. I manage. Well, it's a pretty long list, but I'll try to shorten it. There's a Beyonce. There's a Nicki. Um, there's a Kanye. There's a Party Next Door. Weekend. Those kind of artists like that. I tend to do a lot of the big name artists. Um, yeah. That's been my low key my secret. I guess my secret formula is managing the big name artists, just because it's not that it's easier, but it's um it's not much legwork as far as when the person has their avatar, perfect, and then you're getting them booked on these shows and things like that.
Okay.
Um, yeah.
Can I ask you this? How do you determine who you want to work with? Because I imagine there can be three versions of SL Kanye. How do you determine which one you want to work with?
So I basically, so the one that okay, so you want me to speak on the one that I work with, or if let's say I didn't have one and I wanted to pick one?
Both. Well,
Both.
actually, my question was the latter. So, if you had the option and you saw three SL Kanyes around the grid, what is your selection process like?
Well, my selection process, it would start with the avatar. Um, the avatar, because people want, when they're spending money at these concerts, they want the experience, so they want you to look like the artist. Um, so I would honestly, I would go with, I would look at the skin first. The skin, the look, and then I would message them, be like, "Are you having any upcoming concerts, things like that?" And then I would go and see for myself if look at how they do their concerts. See if do they have a choreographer. If they don't have a choreographer, how does their music sound? Things like that.
Okay. And so they would be responsible for their own particular in performances and choreography and all that, it's not something that you'd necessarily help them with. They'd have to kind of have a fully fleshed out show, basically.
Yeah, I mean, as far as once they like, let's say they've been doing their own thing, and then they come to me for management, then it becomes of I sort of help them lighten their load. So as far as like, let's say like the music mix, like I'll make sure like their music sounds literally like the greatest thing that anybody's ever heard. Um, and then I'll help them with the stage if they needed to, or help them find backup dancers. Basically, like I would let them use like my resources, basically, in a way.
Got you. And how do you get paid based on artists that you manage?
So how I do it is I don't I don't take any money from their bookings. How I do it is when it comes towards the concerts and when it's being held at like my venue, that's where I sort of get the money back. I would say is from holding the concert. But as far as them getting their booking fee, I let them have their booking fee, only because I've experienced situations where people have had their money gouged or taken, or half of this and things like that. So
Oh,
I uh I should have just let them keep the booking fee as a way of that's your money. I'll worry about the back end on like when we hold a concert and we're selling tickets. So, but as far as like the bookings, like let's say they go perform at a birthday party, it's they can keep all that.
okay, that makes sense. And it seems pretty fair. So I've seen you perform twice. Once New Year's Eve and also with 21 Savage, and both performances were great and very electrifying. It felt like you were in a concert, and I go to a lot of concerts in real life. The energy's definitely there. It's a lot of fun. How long does it take you to prepare for a performance? Like, how much work goes into this? So how much work actually goes into preparing for a performance and executing a performance?
So for me, um, I my background is music production. So I actually go into my um how could I say, my music software, and I go in and I like edit the music in a way. I make it sound more alive and make it sound real. Add the I add the bass and the tremble, like really good bass. So when they're like, and then reverb and things like that. Um, so when they're hearing it, it feels like they're at a concert. So that's like the first thing I do before I even worry about the choreography or worry about who I'm gonna have perform, is I lay out that part first. So that's, to me, that's like the important, because if the audio isn't good, it kills the entire experience. So the audio has to be, that's like number one priority for me. So I sit, it it honestly depends. I've been doing this for so long. As far as Drake's music, I know his entire catalog. So when I'm like, honestly, for me, it's like, how do I want to start this set, and then how do I want to finish it? But it's like once I find that first cool intro song, then I sort of just, it's like boom, 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 piece that all together. And then after that, I listen to the mix a couple of times, see if there's anything I want to change. And then I go into the animations, as far as what rapping animations I want to do, and depending on the venue, what effects they'll allow me to do. Because I do have some crazy effects that I like to do, but some venues don't allow it, because they'll consider it hutting in a way, but it's really not.
What are the
But
crazy effects that
it's
aren't allowed?
you said what?
What are the crazy effects that are not allowed?
So there's like this effect I do where it's like I basically summon a blizzard, and it is really hard to explain, but it's like I summon a blizzard, and then there's like a lightning light that like comes up from the sky, and like it makes the ice sort of like separate. But the problem with that effect is anybody that's like close will get capsuled into like full of ice. They'll get covered in ice, basically. So that's like the downside of that effect. It looks super cool though. It looks super cool. But yeah, so I only really do it at like at my stadium. That's when I really only do that effect. That's when I do like all the crazy effects is at my stadium versus other cons. I just do I do like the fire, the fire exploding, um, particle effect. But yeah,
Okay. This kind of
yeah, you
sounds
do whatever you
expensive. I'm not going to lie to you. So, even after you build the avatar,
yeah.
you have to get the program that you told us about for, and tell us the name of it again. I'm sorry.
Was it choreography, right?
Yes,
Yeah, spot on.
spot on.
Yeah,
That's it. So, you'd need that. Now, I have to arrange the music and listen
yeah.
back and actually edit the music. What program are you using to edit the music so that it intensifies the sound, makes it clearer, and the bass is jumping a little bit? What are you using for that?
So I do use I use Adobe Audition to edit the music, but I mean for the cheaper route, you could honestly use like BandLab. BandLab is free. It doesn't cost you anything. You can honestly just use BandLab. It has all the effects, and you can just use that and you'll be good to go.
And then the wrap animations
Yeah.
is going to be like 1,500, maybe 2,000 Linden for that, the wrap animations. And
Yeah.
I guess you'd have to set up sort of a stage in the background or not really.
It depends on the venue because some venues will just have the stage already made, so you don't really have to build that out. Um,
But decorate it still.
Sometimes no. Sometimes they'll have it already decorated for you. But then there are some venues, where you have to like build your own, backdrop in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it depends on the venue.
But I guess that you worry about, you'll cross that bridge when you get there, sort of thing. All right. So,
Yeah.
I can see so this is an investment for sure. That's the point that I'm getting at. So once you're an established artist like yourself, how much is your booking fee?
So I keep my booking fee the same as my artists. And I make my booking fees reasonably priced, just because of competition with other labels or other management companies. So I make mine a little bit competitively priced better. Um, and because of the rapid output of bookings, it sort of makes up for having a lower price. You get you get more bookings, but it sort of works out because you're getting more. You're
The
still getting
volume makes
more.
up for the cut. Yeah.
Yeah,
But how much
value.
is your price though, specifically for you and your artist? Like if someone
Um,
watching wanted to book
so
you.
yeah, so for 10 to 15 minutes, it's 3K. For 20 to 30 minutes, it's 4K. And then for 45 to 60 minutes, it'd be 6K.
6K. Okay, and I don't think I've ever seen you for less than 30 minutes. Like I don't think I've
Yeah.
seen you for 10 to 15 minutes anywhere. So on average someone would be paying about 5K for 30 minutes of your time.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Hmm.
okay, that's fair. So is it different for concerts or it's the same?
Wait, what do you mean?
Like,
Oh, you
so
mean,
are you
oh,
still
what's the
getting
price for
paid?
concerts?
Are you still getting paid the booking fee and a portion of ticket sales? Is that how that works?
Yeah, so for like concerts that I put like so the concerts that I put on myself, I'm getting the ticket money,
Okay,
you
got it.
know. Um, and then, sometimes I'll work a deal out with the artist. I'll tell them straight up. I'll be like, you can either get your booking fee or you can get a percentage of the tickets. And honestly, the percentage of the tickets are a little bit better. Um, So it honestly it depends. It depends how the artist wants to work it out. Some of them they'll just be like, oh no, I'll just take my booking fee because I'm only performing for that set of time. But for like the headliners, I sort of ask them like, do you want a percentage of the ticket sales versus the booking fee? And the reason why I do that too is because some artists aren't gonna sell out like other artists. So for them, it's like they don't really lose.
Yeah,
they don't
no,
they don't lose out if they're getting a percentage of the tickets
that
if they don't
definitely
sell
sounds
out.
beneficial. And it's just one night, right? Or can it be run for an entire weekend, a concert? How does that work?
Um, it It honestly, it depends. The last concert I did 3 days. No, it was 2 days. It was 2 days. It was 2 days. Um, no,
Okay.
no, no, no. It was 3 days. My bad. Yeah, it was 3 days. Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
I would
And
definitely go to a concert in SL. I think that would be fun to dress up for. I used to when I first started, but it
mhm.
would be real life artists who someone created an Avi for, and they would put on a concert, and it was so much fun. I loved it every time. I haven't even heard of it in so long. Like, when was the last concert that you put on?
That I put on, it was around the last November was the last concert that I personally put on together.
Okay.
So I've been doing a lot of bookings these past couple of months. So I've been just doing bookings and then planning the next big concerts and stuff like that at the stadium. So
So, Drake, where can if someone wants to go to one of your concerts, how do we keep up with you? Just SL Instagram, or do you have a group that the viewers can join where they can look out for it and determine whether or not they want to go?
yeah, so I have a in-world group. It's called the Celebrity Center. It's like my stadium. That's my stadium group, but it's part of my new management for the artist.
Okay.
So there's that. There's also where we have a website now. It's called SLStadium.com, and that's gonna literally have a calendar of the events that we put together or any bookings that I'll be a part of. It'll all be on there. Or you can follow me on Instagram at SL.Drake, and that's where you literally get like the right updated, like, oh, he's performing here tonight. So
Okay, I'm definitely going to put all that information in description box below or above, depending on what you're if you're looking on your phone or your computer screen. What would be considered successful to you in terms of how many bookings per month or per year for new artists
um
versus an artist who's been at it for about 2 years, 3 years, or a well-established artist?
so for a new artist, I mean, if you get 5 bookings, I mean that's amazing.
A month or a
On
year?
a year, if
A
you get
year.
5 bookings a year, I would say, and you're just new, I mean, I would say any small thing of success is a good thing. Honestly, I wouldn't, because I feel like that's a lot of pressure to put on someone that's like, man, I didn't get like 20 bookings this year. Oh, I didn't get So I feel like anything is a success. Honestly, um, you know. Now, if you're like a bigger artist and you've been doing it for a long time, I mean, now I would feel like that's a little different. I feel like you should be at least doing at least 30, maybe 40 minimum.
A year.
But yeah, but it also depends on it's crazy because the real life artist sort of equates to SL. So if the real life artist isn't really putting out a lot of new music, you know, it's sort of like, I don't say it diminishes the SL role player, but it's, I don't know. I guess it's like, I mean, if you're doing an artist that has like 5 songs, I mean, eventually it's like it'll get a little tiring. Well, not tiring, but it'll get a little. You want to find an artist that has a very nice catalog, honestly, like a very deep catalog. So then, when you're doing bookings, you can like really mix up the sets. So it's always like a fresh set every time.
So you have your hands full with this Kendrick Lamar Drake beef that's going on. I'm loving the music that's coming out of both of them. I think everything that both of has put out has been really good so far.
Yeah.
And I'm going to ask your opinion on who you think the winner is. But before that, how has that impacted your bookings and things like that?
So actually, last night is actually, I can tell you a story. So last night I had a booking at a party, and they also booked Kendrick Lamar there. And the lady told me, she was like, "We booked in advance before the beef, so we didn't know." So right, he's performing and he starts rapping Euphoria,
Uh huh.
right? And mind you, my mix was already sent to the DJ. So I didn't even realize. So think about it. I made my mix, and I didn't even realize that Kendrick Lamar is gonna be there. So I honestly pulled like a power move, and I hit up the DJ, and it's Kevo, by the way. That's my bro. I gotta give him a shout out.
Shout out, Kevo.
Um, Shout out to Kevo. I hit him up. I said, "Hey, can I send you an updated mix?" I even gave him a little extra. Because I was like, "Yo, like I gotta." Because if he's performing that, I have to perform. I perform my diss record. So it got a little crazy because so when I was performing Family Matters, I put on I put on Kendrick Lamar's his label's chain on, and there were some people in the crowd that were a part of that label, and they were going crazy, and they're like, "Oh my god, he's got our chain on!" It's like, how did you get our
How did you even get that? Or you can't tell?
No, I mean, I could speak on it. So the label owner a long time ago gave me one of the chains. So it was sort of like the most perfect thing that could have happened. We got the beef going, and then now I can actually like role play, a beef. I can put on your label mate's chain, and disrespect you a little bit. It's fun.
I
So
know everybody at that party went crazy. That must have been so much fun. Like,
everybody everybody at the party went crazy. Like, there's no way he really just performed with their chain on. Like, that's crazy. I had the effects going and everything. It was pretty cool. It was pretty cool.
so do you think you and SL Kendrick will set something up where you can kind of capitalize on this dispute that's going on right now?
Yeah. So actually, we're gonna meet. We're gonna have our teams meet Monday to plan out. We're gonna do a concert. I'm gonna sort of let the SL people decide. Um, and we're gonna plan it out. We're trying to. We honestly want to wait till all the disc records come out because we don't know. Like, Kendrick Lamar is still releasing records. Drake is still releasing records. So we're gonna try to plan it around when the beef is sort of like nearly done. So there's enough records to sort of play, and then it'd be like a versus almost in a way.
That sounds like a lot of fun. Okay, you can't be biased, SL.Drake, but who do you think is winning?
I can't be biased.
You're gonna be biased. I know it's gonna be a little hard. Don't be biased. Like, we're just going on lyricism, what was said, and I know you and I had a side conversation where you basically told me whatever one-liners kind of impact the pop culture, kind of like No Diddy and other things like that.
Yeah. So yeah.
I'll
So I
let you
mean,
speak
that's
on
still
it. Go
gonna
ahead.
yeah. That's still gonna be my take on it. I think it's honestly in the culture that we're in right now. It's sort of like we're in a it's a lot of relevancy bias, right? So if you're the last one to drop and it was hot, oh yeah, then everybody's gonna think you're winning, right? Because you're the last to say something. It's like the person in the argument who got the last word. It's like, oh, he got the last word. Um, and I think that was a smart move from Kendrick to not only respond to Drake 30 minutes after, but then to drop again. I mean, that was a great tactic. Hats off to him. But I mean, when you I'm trying not to sound biased. I'm really trying my best
No,
not to
no.
sound
I
biased.
think if you're able to clearly explain why you think Drake is winning, it won't sound. I personally think Drake is also a strategist, right? Not only
Yeah.
did he release this music, he taxed 20 verses 1, whatever he's saying on his
Yeah.
songs. He had some great one liners, like when he's telling Metro Boomin, like, basically shut your whole ass up and go make some drums, right? And then on top of it, he's shouting out major YouTube SL streamers. I mean, not streamers, but YouTubers, like Kai Sanat and other people like that, DJ Academics, to ensure he gets played, to ensure that everyone's talking about him. And his lyrics also extremely layered, right? Really clever. So with that being said, it's a good battle for sure.
Yeah.
It's a good battle
And
for sure. Like, we have two talented people going up against each other.
Yeah, and you know, me saying that Drake is gonna win isn't me knocking Kendrick. Kendrick is an amazing lyricist. Like
Absolutely.
anybody who says that Kendrick Lamar isn't an amazing lyricist, they're not. They don't understand music. You know, so I wouldn't even listen to them. But no, so hats off to Kendrick. You know, he's doing what he's doing. But honestly, like Drake is gonna win this.
Why do you think
And the
he's
reason
gonna win?
and the reason why I say this is because I want people to honestly like this is what I want people to do. I'm gonna give people some homework. All right. I want people to go and I want them to go listen to For All the Dogs, Scary Hours Edition by Drake. There's a section after Away from Home. After that song, there's like 4 to 5 songs on there of Drake really getting intricate and really saying some stuff that I want people to go listen to and then come back to this video or wherever and and say differently because I think people are forgetting that Drake can rap. Drake can really rap. And I think Drake has proven that in this battle, but it's just he hasn't, it's this thing he's been saying is push the red button. He hasn't pushed the button yet. And that's what a lot of people are forgetting. And they're caught up in the think about it like this. It's like Kendrick Lamar sending a bunch of airstrikes, right? Boom, 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 right?
Mm-hmm.
Having everybody frazzled, like, oh man, he's doing this. But the whole time Drake hasn't shot the actual, he hasn't pushed the button yet. And I think honestly, it's a great strategy because I want you to feel like you're winning. I want you to celebrate, go, do all that. But then here I come with the end all, here it is, boom. And then that's when, but I think regardless though, whoever wins the battle, they both I feel like the fans win, honestly. We
Mm-hmm.
get music, um and we get to really see our favorite artist battle. Like this is like a really good battle test.
It is really good. It's really good.
Um it's something that, I never thought would happen because, I've been listening to Drake for forever. So to hear like, the slick shots between both of them throughout the years, then for them to finally be like, all right, like this is the
Gloves
time we're going to
off.
do. Oh, go
Gloves
ahead.
off.
Yeah.
So something you said, which is the person who goes last, kind of has the most lasting effect. I don't know if you ever heard of this, right? It's a psychology term. I think the first one is like the primacy effect and the regency effect. The primacy effect is like basically if you have to present to someone and you go first, uh, you have the opportunity to your information kind of weighs more heavily because you're the first person who's getting to an audience and their mind is kind of like a blank slate and they're taking what you say as fact. And then the last person who goes, which is the regency effect, what happens is that person has heard what the first person has said and they have the opportunity to rebuff. So there's benefits to both in being in both
Yeah.
positions. But like you said, both of these guys are really great artists. I know Kendrick Lamar's deemed to be the lyricist, but something that I don't know will work against him is that people see him more as a conscious rapper. Therefore, his music isn't so poppy. It's not dance music that people will catch on to or understand even what he's saying easily. Do you think that's something that's going to work against him, or does it matter?
Well, have you heard the latest one that he did like
The last thing I heard
yesterday?
was Euphoria.
Oh, so you're
I
not
heard
even
I heard he dropped again, but I didn't hear it.
okay. Did you hear Family Matters by Drake?
Yeah.
Okay, and then did you hear the man, what was it called? Yeah, it's 616, and then Kendrick did. Kendrick got 616, and then there was it's the one oh Not Like Us, which just dropped like
I
yesterday.
haven't heard that.
Yeah, so that was the disc that basically showed everybody that he does have a replay value in the club. And honestly, that song has taken the West Coast by storm, and everybody's crip walking and two stepping and all kinds of stuff to that song all over TikTok. Um,
Ooh, okay,
so
so I definitely got to listen to that. All right, so he kind of handles that sort of doubt that people have in their mind.
yeah, he did handle that. So hats off to him for that. Um, but mind you, Drake hasn't shot back yet, so everybody's just
Yeah, why do
sort of
you
waiting.
think that Drake has like this nuclear weapon that he's going to unload? I feel like he's given his best shot. They're going blow for blow in the ring right now.
It's because if you've been listening to Drake as long as I have, you know, you can know if okay that's all he's got. He ain't got nothing else. But me just I can only speak for myself. Me listening to Drake, and this I know this probably sounds biased to people that are listening,
No, it
but
doesn't. You're saying he has
listening,
depth and range that you haven't heard yet.
yeah, and it's like I can because me also being a songwriter, um, I can sort of pick up where he's like not trying to. He's like saying it, but he's not really giving you all the info. He's not about to tell you, you know, he's not about to break everything down to you. And I think it's honestly it's smart because he probably wants Kendrick to think like, yeah, I'm out of here. Because one thing that I did notice is around when For All the Dogs dropped, he did an interview and he said he was gonna take a break. He said he was gonna take like a 2 year break, a year break from music. And then literally 2 months later, he drops the Scary Hours edition with like 5 new songs. So you know, he's really good at making people think like, oh, he's done. So at the end of Family Matters, I don't know if you remember, but at the end of Family Matters, Drake says, "I'm gonna go on vacation. I hope y'all get y'all plan together." Basically, what he said, like, I hope y'all get y'all stuff together because I'm going on vacation. So by the time I come back, y'all better have y'all ducks in a row. Um, so he said that because he wants you to think like, okay, cool. Now we can just try to bully him and we just gonna try to go at him and he's not gonna respond. But the whole time, he's got the red button. So that's honestly what I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for the red button to be pushed. And once it's pushed, you know, it's it's gonna be it's not gonna be an easy battle to win, of course, but it'll definitely it'll definitely match it up. It'll definitely be a nice matchup for real. Um, but yeah, if he pushes that button, I think it'll be honestly be over. I think the beef will be over if he pushes that button.
Okay.
I think
Well,
so.
we'll have to see. What I
Yeah.
will ask is this. So Drake is
Mhm.
37 years old, and there's nothing wrong with getting older, becoming wiser, and even mastering what because Drake is literally a master at what he does at this point. I mean, I think his sales
Yeah.
shows it, everything does. And Kendrick as well. Like they've both been at this for a while. So I guess my first thing is because we kind of talked about this, but I didn't even get a response for you because so many people had dropped into our conversation while we were talking. So
Oh
people are
yeah.
saying that Drake kind of overstayed his welcome in the industry. It's a young boy's game, a young girl's game, whatever it is, and that's why he's at the point where people feel like they could disrespect him and trample over his legacy. That's number one, and then number two is why do you think everyone is mad at Drake? Because I have no idea how this even started in the first place. So, what do you
So
think about aging out of music? That's should he have transitioned into something else, kind of like Jay Z? And the second thing is why is everyone mad at him in your personal opinion? Because I don't think anyone knows.
yeah. So I mean, Drake's not that old. I think that's what people are like. As far as like a musician, like Drake's not that old. It's not like Drake's like 50. You know, like 60. He's not. He's not even.
For hip
I
hop and
think.
your to have an artist in their 40s, he's definitely in the minority. That's not the average
But I mean,
age.
there's Gucci Man. There's Little Wayne is still
But they're
rapping.
not
Gucci
at the
Man.
height of success that he's at, right? Like
And see, and that's what it is. You see, that's what it is. The height of success. Everybody's mad because he's at the height of why? How is it because he's old? It's like a LeBron thing. LeBron is 39 years old, still playing basketball, and everybody's still hating on him. Like, why is he that old, still playing basketball?
and not to say he shouldn't. I just want to clarify, but I'm just saying like when
Yeah,
we think of a
I,
popular artist who's kind of changing the style of music that we're listening to or setting a trend, it isn't usually a 40-year-old rapper or a 37-year-old rapper. It's like a 25-year-old kid.
yeah,
And I'm not
but
saying it's right, but that's what it is, right?
I think like when I'm listening to music, I'm not really caring how old the person is. Like I'm looking for the aesthetic that they're bringing or the vibe they're bringing. I think nobody who was listening to Smokey Robinson back then or listening to Michael Jackson and was like, "Oh man, they're too old" or whatever to be singing.
It's
Like,
different though. Let me explain why. The reason that it's different is what you're rapping about, what the topics are, right? So in hip hop, right? Especially when we're talking about it's party and bullshit music that kind of sells, that's promoted and pushed. You would think
Yeah,
that someone like him has evolved past certain things. Like, I, if Drake is talking about he has ops and he's drinking lean, it's like, why? Like, you literally could afford not to be in these positions. You understand what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't make
yeah,
sense.
yeah. I think that's his way of him, telling his life story. But I think, it. I feel like nobody can try to tell you how to tell your life story, whatever it is, because I think, like with music, I mean, you're expressing yourself, you're expressing whatever it is you're going through, so I think there's no age on that. I think for Drake, it's like a therapeutic thing to go into the studio and let me go ahead and make some music. So I think a lot of people, they say like, oh, he's still doing like the party music and stuff, but it's like, he's still getting deep on those records. I think people aren't listening. They're not dissecting the lyrics, but it is what it is. But I feel like just let the man rap if he's gonna rap. I mean, he's gonna, it's. I mean, Jay-Z put out the 444, and I get it. It was like a more introspective album,
There you
but
go.
he was still releasing music. But I think Drake's not there yet,
There you
and I
go.
think
The
everybody want
introspection is missing.
and
And I think you hit the nail right on the head.
and I think everybody wants that from Drake. But it's like this, right? If you're at the top, everybody wants you gone. You know why? So they can be at the top. That's honestly what it is.
That's fair.
They want you gone. So then now that you're gone, somebody has to fill that spot. People are going to find somebody to fill that spot because now you're gone. But because you're there, you're still breaking records. You're still outselling us. You're still da 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 da. You're still doing this. Like, yeah, we want you gone. We want you up out of here. So I think that's honestly what it is. They want him up out of here.
I think
They're
that's
hating.
fair. I could definitely see that being a
Yeah,
part of it. And what's crazy to me is all these people he's worked with in the past and kind of, and I'm sorry, I don't mean for this to sound disrespectful, but kind of given stimulus packages too, because a lot of artists were on because he was featured on their records. Like, let's be a
yeah,
hundred
and
about that.
and and if you want me to be really like, and this is not me being biased, but let's just be honest. Yes, Kendrick dropped his album, Mr. Morales and the Big Steppers. Yeah, he did that, right? But come on, like nobody would have been talking about Kendrick if he wasn't speaking on Drake right now in this moment. Is what I'm saying. Like, like people aren't realizing that Metro Boomin, his numbers went up because he literally promoted this album to be a diss record.
The song was good too. I like that
Yeah,
song.
no, no, I'm not saying that the music was bad. I'm just saying like they're clearly using Drake to promote all this stuff. So it's like you say you hate this guy, you say all this, but it's like you sort of need him. It's like you can it's like Batman and the Joker. Like the Batman always needs the Joker, in a way. Like Batman's not I mean Batman is still Batman, but Batman needs that what's going to make him put that cape on?
Right.
The Joker. The Joker's gonna make him go put that cape on. Well, what did the Joker just do? Oh, the Joker just blew up half of Gotham. All right, time to put my suit on and go out there. Like, but if the Joker wasn't there, eh, you
You
really
need the
wouldn't.
counterpart, whether good or bad, to
It,
work off
it
of. Yeah. I,
counterpart, and I think it's so to break down why I think that 'cause to answer the second part of your question when you asked why do I think that they're all against him. So if you go do some research on his deal, right? So he signed this deal with Universal, it was like worth over like $400 million. And if you go listen to some of his lyrics, he talks about how I spent a percentage of your publishing. This is basically like he didn't say actually publishing, but I'm just basically telling you what he was saying is, that was his Tootsie money. That was some money that he blew. Like it was your percentage of yours. Um, so I think he has his hands in a lot of people's publishing. And I think some people, found out about it because I mean, how would you feel if you're doing all this, but this guy is getting, a percentage
I would
of
feel
your
very pimped, right? Like, and I think that makes the most sense, to be honest.
and I mean Drake gets the highest one of the highest artist royalties out of like Spotify and Apple Music. He's getting like one of the most highest cuts than a lot of these other than all these other people. But, you know,
But he's
so
established enough to command or to be able to negotiate, right? Sometimes when you're
yeah.
not at a certain level, you
Yeah.
can't do
So
that.
yeah, so if you're not on that level, I get it. I get I get the conversation that people said, well, I feel like I'm worth this, so I should be able to get this. But it's like, realistically speaking, if you're not doing Drake numbers, you can't go in there and say, I want the Drake deal. Like, I want what Drake's getting. Well, are you putting up Drake numbers? And that's what some of them artists got to really be realistic about. And I think that's what the problem is they're not hitting those numbers like Drake. They're not getting the deal like Drake. So that's honestly what it is. But
I could also say this to that, like in terms of new artists, because that's sort of a big pet peeve for me, and I've talked about this with friends just in passing. I hate how new artists kind of get graped because we're on YouTube coming into the game, and people are like, "Oh, you see other people sign bad deals, so you shouldn't go ahead and sign a bad deal." Like for example, Cassie, who was locked into a 10 album deal with Puffy, or we hear of these people who own nothing and they're getting paid basically
yeah,
pennies, and most artists don't complete 3 albums like in their career or 4 albums. And so it's Drake is the outlier. He's not the
yeah,
norm. So I think that there should be fairer contracts, but that's a different subject for a different day, right?
yeah. I think as far as contracts are, I mean, it's honestly like contracts are really cut and dry, and I feel like what it is people don't understand that. So when you get signed to a record company, they have a thing called an advance, right? Now, mind you, all this money that the label's giving you, they want to make that money back. And I think a lot of people forget that this money isn't just their money isn't the money that they're signing to isn't like a job. Like, how you work a job and they cut you a check and then that's like your money, right? With a record label, any money that they're cutting you, that's quote unquote investment money. So they're expecting to make that money
It's like a
back
loan.
alone. So, of course they're gonna take it. I mean, the standard is 85%, and they're gonna take 85% till they recoup, and then you're gonna get your money paid. But let's say they gave you $2 million, and then they spent $5 million on the campaign. Then you had to spend another $2 million on producers or features or music videos or flights or hotels or all that stuff adds up. So when your album drops, they have to recoup all that money. you know so that's honestly what it is, and I think a lot of them, it's money management, honestly. Like, if you get signed to a record company, it's money management. Don't go blow, don't go buy chains, don't go buy houses. Keep all that money until the label's recouped, and then you still have some money left over. Because if you sit there and just spend all your money, and then you're gonna go ask them for more money, now you're just putting yourself in debt. So yeah,
That's one
I'm not
part
trying to
of
say
it.
they could.
No, no, you're 100% right. And that's definitely one part of it.
Yeah,
But some of these artists are also claiming that the splits, even after the fact, once they have paid back what they owe, sometimes they claim the advances are very small, 50,000, 100,000, but also, like you said, the cost of actually doing business, which is to set up
yeah,
accounts or to travel, so on and so forth. But the splits are predatory, and that's what I'm kind of referring to.
yeah. I mean, if you know, I mean, the record label is putting up the big risk. They're putting up the millions of dollars. It'd be different if the artists themselves was putting up the millions of dollars and then was getting, the $50,000 advance. Then it's like, yo, like, But so I'm looking at it from the business. Like, if I spent $5 million and I only made $2 million back, I'm
After
not
you
gonna use
recouped your 5
5 million.
million, or you made 2 million after you recouped your 5 million?
Or no, let's say I'm the record label and I spent $5 million and I only made $2 million off your album. You still owe me three.
Right.
I'm not gonna cut you another $5 million check when you only brought me back 2 million. You see what I'm saying? I don't think people realize that. Like, I'm not gonna cut you another $5 million check. You still haven't paid me back the other money.
But it's
So
like you
here's a
said,
hundred.
why
Here's
are we 5 million in debt in the first place?
Yeah, yeah. They took that. They signed that contract.
Like that's a lot of money, right? Like what are we spending
Yeah,
money for? That's a huge risk on somebody who's like, you know, they got a wave, they got a little motion with them, but that's for someone who's untried. You have no proof of concept here. Why would we be $5 million in debt?
yeah. And that's it's 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 real tricky, and some artists, they get $1 million put behind them. Some of them get no money put behind them. Some of them get put the entire record label's bank account put behind them in hopes that they're gonna make a return on their money. But I think that's why labels now are signing people who have a buzz now, so that they don't really have to do a lot of the hard work.
Like the advertising and promoting and pushing,
Yeah, the
like
advertising, like a Sexy Red or a Ice Spice, like they are the market team. Ice Spice and Sexy Red, like that's the marketing right there. It's just them being themselves. So that's when it's a little different, I
yeah.
think.
And most of these new artists, they kind of have a wave of their own. Like they have, let's just talk about 6ix9ine. Remember, he got up to like 1 million in followers on Instagram before I think he was signed. I hope that my facts are correct, but I think that they are. A lot of these artists kind of have a huge wave, like maybe 100,000, 200,000 followers. Like they're really well known in their city and maybe outside of their
Yeah,
city already. It's not like listening to a demo record or a tape or something like that and then taking a risk.
yeah. And honestly, like, my advice would be, to stay independent. If you have 1 million fans, stay independent. There's no need to go sign to a record company so you can get a Grammy. You don't even need to go sign to a record company to get a Grammy. Like, honestly, stay independent. Because if you have 1 million fans, think about it. That's 100% going to you versus you giving 85% of that to a record label. That's gonna tell you to post on your Instagram that you've already been doing because you're independent.
For free
So
because you
I
love it, right?
free, yeah, for free. So honestly, I would give, if I could give advice to any artists out there, honestly, just stay independent.
But how do you pay for all the stuff like the travel and this and that in order to go? I think that's where management comes, having a
Oh
record.
well, I mean, yeah, get you. I mean, yeah, get you management. But as far as that, I mean, find somebody. I mean, if you wanted to find an investor, I mean, you could probably find an investor that's not gonna cook you like a record label would, or I mean, honestly, you could, if you wanted to do a label thing, you could just sign a distribution deal with a label where all they're doing is just distributing your music for you, and you're not really locked into like a 360. So there's that too.
That's great
But
advice because we have so many people in SL who are aspiring artists who rap. Like I see them all the time. I've attended rap battles. So that's actually really good advice. And I think that you shed a lot of light on how contracts work, even the aspect of advance and paybacks. I didn't even realize the payback was so high. And you could be debt in that much in debt. Like maybe a little bit in debt, I thought, but not that much in debt, after releasing
yeah,
an album. So that's
yeah.
great info. So I've held you for about an hour and 18 minutes at this point, and I've enjoyed this conversation. I always love talking to you. I always feel like I learn a lot of new things, and it's a vibe. So thank you so
Oh yeah,
much.
always, always.
Thank you so much. I just want to recap everything that you said. So basically, if you want to get started as an SL celebrity artist, what you're going to do is you're going to invest in an avatar, maybe your current avatar, maybe a new one. You can go the cheap route, expensive route. You've kind of heard what we talked about there. You want to be seen and get your name out there. So basically, you're going to start your SL social medias, follow for follow, going to SL parties, tipping DJs. So maybe that artist's song gets played, you get a shout out so people know that you're there. I'm assuming you would leave your booking info in your profile, right?
Oh yes, yes, yes. You'd always want to do that. Yeah, always have the booking info accessible. Yeah.
Accessible. And then should they find a manager at that point, or just work on getting themselves known and trying to get booked?
Honestly, I mean, they could do both. As they're trying to, boost their popularity. I mean, yeah, find a manager to sort of help, and see if they can get it booked on certain festivals or concerts or things like that. Yeah, honestly, you could do both at the same time. It
Okay.
doesn't hurt. It would only help you for real.
And before that step, I forgot to say this. You're going to have to invest in some tools. Like you're going to have to invest in a choreography tool, tools to enhance your music. You're going to have to arrange your music in terms of how you want to present, how you want to hype the crowd up. Ooh, any special effects you might have that relate to your performance, a background dancer, so on and so forth. And once you have all these things mastered or at least planned out, then you could go ahead and try to book with someone and see how that goes and what the reception like and tweak along the way. Did I leave anything out?
No, yeah, that was honestly everything to start. Yeah.
Okay. So before we go, I want to see your stadium. Can we check out your stadium and then you could tell us a little bit about what you do with that? Or
Yeah.
if you don't want to, that's okay because maybe and it's really I'll allow you to respond first. Well, do you want to show your stadium, yes or no?
Uh, I mean, I don't have anything really in there right now, so I mean, I could res the stage though if you want. I
Okay.
could.
I mean, I think that people should know that it exists. So in the evolution of SL.Drake, besides, the bookings and the concerts and the SL management, now you've got the stadium. And the first time I went, I was like, it looks absolutely beautiful. You had like all of the owners' boxes filled with your little drinks and decorations. I know it's probably gone now because you rent out the space to like beauty pageants. Who else? Like graduations. What else do you rent it out for?
People's concerts, like if they want to do a concert, they can also book it for that. I mean, really anything, basketball event, boxing event, anything that they can think of. If an artist wants to hold a concert there, they can book and all that. So yeah.
Okay. And the dates that this stadium will be in use, will you leave that on your calendar? Because I want to leave the slurl to your stadium in the description box so people can look at it, but I don't want them to like pop in on someone else's event. Or do you not want that?
Um, that's honestly that's fine. It's honestly it's fine. It's cool.
Okay, cool. Let's go over there then.
Okay.
I'm forcing you. And guys, it's really easy to find. It's like literally under the Celebrity Center Stadium. And I think you could type in stadium under the search part of like right here. Sorry guys. The search part here, you could type in stadium and it's there. So, oh, there's Drake. So this is the entrance. Like kind of like if you go into the Barclays Center or something like that. We'll wait for that to resin a little bit more. You have the vending machines, a welcome station, you have the time here, and it looks really cool. I remember when I first saw this build, I was pretty excited about it and I really liked it. So I definitely want to show you guys what it looks like. Super cute. I go to SL boxing matches and other things like that. So any anyone who's involved in SL sports or you guys have SL events, like definitely come check this out. This is a really beautiful build. Drake, I'm just gonna. Do you want to give us a tour? Hold on a second.
Yeah, I could. Yeah, I could.
I'm waiting for you to resin.
I'm trying
Okay, there you go. There you go. Hey. All right. I'll just follow you around. So I gave them the entrance, like where you kind of come in, and there's the welcome
Yeah.
center with the time and everything. So that's pretty dope. And usually where we're standing now is where a large stage would be, and these are like
Yeah.
special VIP boxes. He had it decorated really nicely. Oh no, no, this is part of the stand. Where are the VIP boxes? Are they blacked out?
The VIP boxes are so the VIP boxes are all the little mini booths that you see.
Okay, there it is. This is an example of one. So these mini booths, and he had it set up with couches and like beverages and alcoholic beverages and things like that. So that was pretty cool. And imagine wrestling. This would be the tunnel people would come out of, and you could put like a little wrestling stage here. I seen it set up for beauty pageants. And where does your stage normally go?
The stage usually goes like right here
In the center.
in the center, in the middle center part. I could try to see if I can find my reser for you and see if I could
Where's that a
get
stage?
the
Okay, if you can. I think we could kind of envision it. Like it's a huge space. How many people does this stadium hold?
So it does hold 110 people total.
Okay.
Um, yeah. So usually with a lot of events, a lot of people want to do, a lot of them want to do multiple days,
Okay.
depending on how many tickets they've sold. So yeah, so some people do book for like multiple days.
Okay. And how many specialty booths do you have? Like kind of the VIP booths. So I see one, two,
Um,
three, four, five, six,
so
seven.
there's like three big booths, and then there's maybe like 16 like mini booths.
What would be considered a mini booth? Like the one on the second level behind you? Is that a mini booth?
No, so those big rooms back there, those
Okay.
are like considered the suites. Those are like the big VIP booths. Those are
Like
like the
owner's
10 plus.
boxes.
Yeah, those are like the 10 plus people in a
Okay.
booth.
And I'm just zooming in, guys, so you could see. So here's like a couch setup, one with sofa setup. Usually there's like end tables and drinks in the middle and buffets and things like that going on there. And what would be considered a mini
So a
booth?
mini booth would be like above. So you see like above that floor, and it's like a little small. It's usually it's decorated with like champagne and like a waiter, and then like the reclining seats.
Oh, I see the champagne and stuff. Okay. I'm sorry, say that again. You said usually it's decorated with champagne. So I see with the stairs. So I think originally I thought that was like another entry point. Okay. So how many people fit in there?
In the small booths, usually like four people, five. Depends. It honestly depends on the person that wants the how they want the venue to be. Honestly, it's per venue. So,
Okay, let me cam in there
um,
again because I don't think I picked up the right one then. Because you said four or five. It definitely. So is it the one with the staircases in it? Because it definitely could have you could. I definitely more than four or five people would be in that area.
well, it's the limit of SL. So you can't have like 500 people in a
Ah,
arena.
okay. So
So
the rooms are the same size. It's just that you limit the amount of people in there.
yeah,
Got it. Got
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Got it. Okay,
So
that makes sense.
for the bigger rooms, you can have like 10 people, 20 people in there. Depends
Okay.
on yeah.
I got it. I got it. All right. Well, it was a pleasure. Do you want to leave us with anything?
Wait, what do you mean leave you with anything
Any
like
parting words?
um good night and take care. No.
Okay, so good night and take care. All right, so I'm going to sign off. Thank you so much, SL.Drake. We'll leave all your
Oh yeah,
booking
always.
information below. We'll leave the stadium here below. Res out your stage so people can find it. And if there's a note card, leave it in your group. I'll put your group up as well as your website. Is slstadium.com. Instagram is SL.Drake, guys. And I will zoom into my face and sign off. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate you. And I hope that you come back. And hugs and kisses to SL.Drake. Thank you so much for joining us. Bye.